This is Sybert signing into Red Alert 3 on the map Carville, but it's one of the variants, one of the adjustments that has been made by a map maker out there in the wild to try and fix Carville a little bit better for the 2v2v2 world, and it's crates time. Okay, this might get a little bit silly. In the north, he's no fun at all. He's playing the Allies, and he is BlackLung. That's a heck of a name. I guess it inspires terror in his opponents. Meanwhile, having a much better time, this is Stone69, which I suppose is sort of like 42069, which people do love their numbers. Meanwhile, in the south, playing the red, this is BeroNeverOneFact. I don't know. This is radyo. Meanwhile, on the left side, playing the green team, it's the Allies. This is Liven. And finally, we'll see if he can conjure up an image of what it looks like to win. This is NanoBanana. Little Soviet action, little Allied action, little Empire action. We got ourselves a 3v2v1 in terms of faction distribution. 3 Allied players, 2 Soviet players, 1 Empire player. And we got ourselves... Is this Deeper? I think this is Carville by Deeper. This is not by Escatabar, or the name that starts with an E that I can never pronounce correctly. This is, I believe, Carville by Deeper. So the middle island is completely abandoned. You do have the Swiss bank there. You got a couple of oil derricks as well. Do we have a veteran academy? No. Okay, so the veteran academy, airport, that one is gone. Boop. Okay. That guy's just deleted. And then as you can see, each player starts with 2 oil derricks. So you do have bonus income because of the oil derricks, and then each team starts with a garage. And as you can see, blue team has walled them in. So orange team, red-orange team has done the opposite. Planting a super reactor next to the garage is the exact opposite of putting walls around it. So as you can see, this map has a lot of changes, has a lot of variation. There's relatively close... Is the team in the north? Okay, I guess team in the north and team on the left kind of mirror each other. I feel like these 2 expansions are so close and so easy to take. You basically get 4 refinery income plus 2 oil derricks if you are this spawning position or that one. The other ones, you do have to go up onto the high ground. They're also pretty close, so it's very easy to get 3 or 4 refineries, plus you've got the double oil derricks. There's a ton of cash available on this map. Oil derricks in the middle of the map as well. So you've got lots of options in terms of economy, in terms of space. This is a map that is very big and open, and because it does support 6 players, there's just a ton of everything on this map. BlackLung struggling with his electricity production just a little bit here. And yeah, these trees in the middle, normally you do not see a forest this dense and thick here in Red Alert 3. And that Riptide is just absolutely crushing through the rainforest there, blasting down those trees like he is, whoa! Like he is running an AI operation. Double airfield from a Soviet player plus a vacuum imploder. I think we might have ourselves a twin blade spammer on our hands. And you know, it's not my favorite thing to see for 45 minutes straight, but every once in a while we do get ourselves a pretty good twin blade spammer, and I can't fault people because I love spamming twin blades as well. Super fun to play with as we have the expansions coming up. We've got ourselves some nice water expansions under assault from the Dolphins, and nice positioning there. The nice thing about being a Soviet player, having an Empire or an Allied player next to you, is you get those repairs courtesy of that naval yard, keeping that harvester back up to full health, which of course something the Soviets do struggle with. Hey now, what's going on with this sentry bomber? We got some tricksy plays coming in courtesy of the green team. Of course, we do have that very fast we do have a very fast vacuum imploder on the field from the red team. So I kind of feel like the green team, with that engineer and Tanya heading inside of the sentry bomber, we might have ourselves the target of the red team. That's going to be a lot of jabs popping out of this base, popping out of these Riptides. Bear does jump in just in time to get the roar off, but the Riptides are here to clear out the Bear before any real kills can come through. MiGs are over top, staying safe for the current moment, taking a couple of shots from those jabs. Into the building they go. I'm not sure what the long-term plan for these Javelin soldiers is, but for the current moment, they're just hanging out, causing some chaos, trying to cause some problems, and they're maybe going to be able to laser lock down some of these buildings. Into the Riptide they go, and they might be able to escape the Bears for now, but they're also not doing much of anything at the current moment. Conscripts are now out. They can, of course, Molotov cocktail that building, but I guess the toxins will clear it out as well. Good night to whoever's hanging out inside of that building. Toxins wipe them out. And Riptides Twin Blades overhead, excuse me, as the Riptides try to escape. One Twin Blade will end up going down, trades it out for that, I unclicked the Sentry Bomber. Trades it out for one Javelin. I assume that's the Sentry Bomber with all the units inside of it. Once again, economy's fairly well accelerated here in this game. Most players sitting well above 5k of income. A couple of players reaching up towards 10k per minute of income. Double APOC tank drop over here into the middle of the map. And this Sentry Bomber is crossing as well. What are we looking for? Okay, just kind of letting someone know that you're there. Are we going to deploy a Tanya to blast anything? No, I guess not. All right, magnetic harpoon on top of this MCV, so that will be a dead MCV if he tries to run for the hills. And eventually he will run out of space to actually build things to block this APOC tank. APOC does get the double repair, so might need to use the second magnetic harpoon to finish off the grind of this MCV. But no, the APOC tank is actually repairing through all of the burst damage of those Twin Blades. I thought after the rockets were coming through that it would actually be enough to kill off that APOC tank, but no. MCV goes down. APOC is totally fine to kill off that MCV. Eventually, the APOC, of course, does go down. Sentry Bomber took a little bit of damage, and I don't see anything exploding anywhere, so I think we're good on that front. But aircraft carriers moving forward, hydrofoils plus black hole armor from the assault destroyer are going to be potentially causing some problems. BlackLung and Stone hanging out up there in the north. A little bit of excursion, but I feel like it's mostly been green and red fighting each other for the current moment. APOC tank actually gets sniped there in the middle, and there's the Tanya coming out. Goodbye to the vacuum imploder. It's actually not inside of a Sentry Bomber. She's made her way forward in a super reactor. Can she chain? No! Almost into the crane. When you put your buildings this tight, sometimes if the player is fast enough, they can chain from one building to the other. In this case, Tanya very close to getting inside of that crane. Didn't quite manage it, but green has struck down the vacuum imploder of red, getting very close to the wire there. And I'm going to guess it was a shrunken down. Yeah, that's the cryocopter that I think shrunk down that Riptide to get it across the map super, super fast. Meanwhile, Twin Blades plus MiGs trying to deal with this Air Force. EMP lands on a big chunk of these Tengus, but that's, I think, oh no, it is orange EMPing blue. For a second I thought blue EMP'd blue, and well, you know, sometimes the allies, they misplace their EMPs. You just can't trust them with it. Mirage tank's going to be moving forward. Strikers on ground going to be getting cleaned up. Man, the garage is so good. So much repair, so much survivability given to many of these units. Even this Mirage tank just like hanging around, getting an extra couple of kills that it really shouldn't be able to. EMP does land, but one of the Mirages actually avoids it. Second EMP does land as well. Strikers on the ground. Tsunami tank going to absorb a couple of shots there, and these Mirages are just crushing through this army. Even the engineer gets sniped. Eventually, the aircraft carriers will blast everything down, and well, even these hydrofoils getting poked and prodded by the units inside of that building. Apollo's going to be returning from the fight. Hydrofoils pushing forward a bit at a time, and it looks like Bero is going to step forward. His Akula subs in the water, his twin blades overhead, and the hydrofoils shredding those Apollos one after the other. The aircraft carriers going down. One of the hydrofoils ends up eliminated. The other one will survive for the moment, and Team Blue is sent packing. Shogun Battleship is also here, but Empire and allies were not coordinated on those long-range attacks, so they end up just getting pushed back right on the edge of the black hole armor there. So the hydrofoil will end up going down, and then the assault destroyer will be the next target for Natasha. Inside of the building is so nice, being able to just snipe these buildings, these units safely from great distance. And we truly cannot tell what is happening under this bridge. I'm going to guess that was the ramming speed ability as they just send it through the other guy. Twin blades will end up targeting down Natasha, it looks like. Break open the building and eliminate that unit. Twin blades moving up to the north. Bero with 12k per minute, leading the charge in terms of income for everybody. He's up over 100k. Some of the other players haven't even cracked 60. Liven over there on the green side hasn't even cracked 60k, so Bero up 50k basically from that other player. Mirage tanks moving forward, but they're kind of caught out by this Empire forces. The Tengu's never actually transformed. They could have helped clean up that army a bit faster if they had gone for the transform, and now the bridge is finally gone, so we can properly observe the battles that happen underneath. Proton Collider is now here. We'll see if Green sends a special delivery over in their direction. So far, Green has been the Superweapons Control Police. They're the ones on the case, making sure that nothing actually gets fired off that's too explosive. Natasha now in the building targets the power plant immediately. Hey, that might not be the right target, as Natasha is going to go for the snipe. Manages to land the shot on a double vet aircraft carrier, gets the elite aircraft carrier, and now she goes into the building, immediately busted back out, and Natasha has been eliminated. That's a cold day for Tanya. Time belt doesn't work when you're frozen in time, and it looks like the jab will get the kill. Not often does a rocket trooper get to kill a commando, but it does happen every once in a while here in Red Alert 3. As the aircraft carriers have been built up in pretty serious numbers, EMP does land on Radio's aircraft carrier, and this is 4 aircraft carriers backed up by a Shogun battleship as well. So the damage output of Team Blue in the north is pretty massive. There hasn't been any action up here in the top left-hand corner. Normally, at least one of the players will make their way around and do a little attack through the northern passage along to the other team, but that just has not happened as of yet. The ground fights have been concentrated on the island and then on these passages on the east and in the south. This sort of 6 o'clock and 3 o'clock positions. As that spy gets sniped, Iron Curtain added on for NanoBanana, and well, we're gonna try once again here for Team Red. Liven goes for the Chronosphere, but it is lights out for the current moment. Radio also going for the Chronosphere. Incredibly potent tool in the right hands. I do remember back in the days, Vindies in a 1v1 tournament just getting some massive value from a Chronosphere. And Well, I hope no one was inside of that sentry bomber, because that is a dead sentry bomber. This is so many twin blades, they might be able to overwhelm the bullfrogs. Not so much the MiGs as they get shredded. And there's also flaks inside of this building, so this is just a massive amount of anti-air. It's jabs in the buildings, blasting those twin blades. And in the end, the MiGs on the red side actually win the day. Bero gets the quote-unquote win there, but that was a lot of twin blades that just got annihilated. Still 33k worth of army out on the field, and there's the bridge coming back online. The EMP got grabbed by the black hole armor, so it was flying sideways, which is, again, not something that you see very often. The shrink of that aircraft carrier, if he is able to close the distance and then blast the other aircraft carrier, okay, now that's a little bit unfortunate. That would actually have been hilarious if he was able to get in close, avoid all of the shots because he was shrunken down. Dreadnoughts, they're good at hitting buildings and not much else. Good thing they're shooting at a building, as it looks like Bero going to be moving forward with a little bit of long-range attacks from courtesy of those Dreadnoughts. Cryogeddon will fire off on the other side, and with 3 allied players in the game, you've got lots of options for your Cryogeddon woes. EMP might land, but everyone's already dead in the water, as we have rounded out quite nicely pretty much all of our super weapons, and it's about to get crazy because the first Iron Curtain is ready to go. Green can make anything invincible for a short while, and I guess he can also nuke a small army of infantry. Ooh, he could even preserve whatever these units are. They're not actually being attacked right now. Just the drones are taking a little bit of damage. The waterways on this map can always become clogged up with units. You see this even in the original version of Carville. You see the waterways sometimes just getting absolutely jammed with units, and it doesn't hurt that, or it doesn't help that 2 or 3 big water-based artillery units will jam up the causeway with just the 2 or 3 of them together. But there's so much more land than water on this map, so the land paths never really have that problem. Another Iron Curtain nearly ready to go, this time courtesy of Bero. BlackLung throwing out a couple of we get to see it. Badger Bomber on top of Black Hole Armor, and it does! The Black Hole Armor absorbs the Black Hole Armor. The Black Hole Armor absorbs the Badger Bomber, as, there we go, Badger Bomber is gone. Chronosphere is ready to go. Yes, it is courtesy of Team Green. APOC tank gets the crush. One of the coolest things to see is an APOC tank dragging a boat onto land and getting the insta-kill on it. Love to see that kind of mixing of transportation styles. One guy drives on the land, the other guy floats in the water, and, well, sometimes you get punished for being in the water. Aircraft carrier is up for grabs. Akula subs trying to avoid that, and guess no ultra torpedoes were ready to go, and this is a fully heroic Shogun battleship about to get blasted. And look at that, the aircraft carrier steals the credit at the last possible second. We got a couple of Iron Curtains and a Chronosphere ready to go. We actually haven't seen a super weapon go off yet, but less than 2 minutes until the vacuum imploder is ready to go, and a little under 2 minutes for that Chronosphere as well. Mirage tank will be able to clean out those tank busters, no problem. I don't know what was called in there, but I guess it's going to be a little bit too late as the Wave Horse artillery gets the shot and gets the kill. Sentry bombers crossing back over top of Team Red, going to be backing off as they get chased away from whatever bombing run they were on. Bero pushing forward with his Akula subs. He's actually... Bero and Radio have blasted the entire Blue Navy. There is virtually no Blue Navy left from either one of these players. There's an assault destroyer here, and then Skywings that are trying to make a defense against these Akula subs. Satellite drop will come in, will land on the naval yard a little bit there, but ultimately not do all that much. And I have a feeling we're just going to miss a ton of super weapon usage. There's the Iron Curtain firing off, so we at least get to see that. And now Team Blue is showing up, but Team Red is here with unkillable Akula subs to blast away at the Yaris, blast away at the assault destroyers, and try to knock everything else down. Tanya gonna have to run away on the south side of the map. Triple aircraft carrier to hold the western flank of Team Orange-Red in the south. Twin Blade's gonna have to run away once again. Bero at 14k per minute, crossing over the 200k total resources gathered mark. He has gotten a huge army out time and time again. A lot of those are Twin Blades, and they keep getting just absolutely destroyed time and time again. Doesn't matter. He just rebuilds them anyways because he's got an insane number of harvesters. He's got an insane number of refineries. He's actually only got 8 harvesters. It's not that crazy of a number, but I'm guessing he's got a number of oil derricks as well. 2, that's an observation post. 3, 4, and okay, 4 oil derricks as well. So 8 harvesters plus 4 oil derricks is making up his income. A whole bunch of Apollos showing up, and they are actually just shredding these Twin Blades. Good night to the Twin Blades. They are going to have to be chased away, and we've got Vacuum Imploder ready to go. 23 seconds until the Proton Collider, and another Chronosphere is now ready. I'm guessing we're going to miss a lot of these super weapons as they start popping off, but Team Bero Radio is just slowly pushing out, taking over more and more of the map, and they are doing the thing that is incredibly difficult to do, the Badger Bomber absorbing so many MiG missiles, which that is a limited resource. You don't want to be just giving those away, and in this moment they were just giving those away. But Bero Radio has been able to do what very few other folks have managed to do, which is successfully execute a 2v4, essentially. At this point, they are holding off both teams on either side, and they may end up losing out in the long run. They may be the big losers of this game, but for the current moment, they're doing a good job of holding the line against double their number. MCB gets trapped, EMP, but it's going to be Radio here to save Bero. Repeat EMP, actually, and this time it is from Team Orange, so the MCB gets saved by being put on lights out, and the Vacuum Imploder fires off, landing in the north on this corner expansion. Might take both of these refineries down. No, just one? Yeah, just one. A couple of these buildings surviving as well. A nuke goes off 20 feet from you, and you just go, yawn, give a little shrug, and you move on with your day as the Twin Blades roll in. That's a lot of bullfrogs. That's even more bullfrogs just off screen. They're going to be here to rank up. They're going to be ready to go as Natasha's about to walk into a big satellite drop. That's a flak cannon firing away, and Natasha down 80% of her health, gone in an instant, and the Twin Blades take the rest of the health as well. Aircraft carriers once again just trying to hold the line on the western front. Radio hoping to hold off the Green Navy for a while because the middle of the map, it is desecration of Bero as Liven and NanoBanana have cracked open that high ground center island location with a whole bunch of Twin Blades. This is a crazy number of Twin Blades with these bullfrogs. It's not so crazy of a number of Twin Blades now. It was, +5 or +10 at the beginning of this. Iron Curtain fires off. Assault Destroyer moving forward, blasting everything from Team Bero Radio as Liven and NanoBanana get a little bit of room here. They manage to push forward just in time for some big super weapons to fire off somewhere. Not sure where it actually ended up landing. I think a Proton Collider or something just ended up firing off, although no, it might have been in Team... I think it was in Team Red's base, as they have some big chunks missing out of some of those buildings. Proton Collider landing. Cryocopters moving in. They do manage to freeze off one of the aircraft carriers. The other ones are going to have to run for the hills because that is probably a triple-level satellite drop coming in here. Okay, it looks like only one of the aircraft carriers will get caught and everything else will escape. Oh, down to half HP, down to 0 HP. He was already at like 40% HP as the double Aegis shield will pop, mostly denying that Cryogeddon, but not entirely as Radio pushes forward into the north. Once again, the giant green army of Twin Blades forming the front line, and the Twin Blades move forward. The MiGs catch a number of them. The Bullfrogs a little bit too slow on the uptake, so they do let their Twin Blade friends walk forward and just get destroyed. Couple of Mirage tanks being eliminated, another Cryosphere, or another Chronosphere used to clean out a chunk of units as the Mirage tanks and the Athena cannons moving forward. This really isn't that big of an army, but it's just pushing forward and eliminating these Empire units one by one. Twin Blades heading in, Twin Blades on both sides. It's Bero versus NanoBanana in the battle for the middle of the map, in the battle of the skies. The Bullfrogs on the ground getting blasted by aircraft carrier drones, as the assault destroyer has nothing to do with this fight, but the aircraft carrier, on the other hand, does have a lot to do with this fight. Cryogun firing off in the south. Meanwhile, BlackLung finally gets the kill on that entire army into the north. And hey, Dreadnoughts can hit units. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. They just have to be frozen in place by your friend's Superweapon, which is the Cryogun firing off there to lock down these two hydrofoils and allow the Twin Blades to clean out the water. Goodbye to the Assault Destroyer, and goodbye to the hydrofoils as well for that one moment. Another Chronosphere is ready to go, and Green could just take care of this Dreadnought in a single moment's notice, or maybe even teleport something somewhere else, as Dreadnought will fire off, and then the hydrofoil actually drives right into the missile. He says full speed ahead, and it's full speed into his own grave as the Proton Collider lands on the double expansion of Radio Bero, blasting through those refineries and nuking the naval yard just a little bit as well. Tanya once again eliminated. Perfectly done there. That timing was genius as the APOC tanks got the kill on the Riptide. Otherwise, the Riptide would have been made invincible, and it would have done nothing. I mean, it would have been invincible, though, which would have been slightly annoying, but the timing there was perfect. The Riptide died. All of the infantry got nuked by the Iron Curtain. It was perfect usage there. And nice attempt from Liven NanoBanana, but Radio Bero was ready for it that time, as the Proton Collider, maybe it could have been used to, I don't know, clean out those tanks, and then Tanya comes in afterwards, because the Proton Collider can't one-tap a super weapon. None of the super weapons can one-tap a super weapon, but you could, you know, clean out all the tanks, go for it that way. Some of these oil derricks already reclaimed. I guess maybe only this one was actually captured by NanoBanana, but some of them have been reclaimed by Bero, as strangely, this game actually kind of slowing down for just a moment. Cryogeddon in combination. Oh, he didn't get it placed correctly. I thought it was close enough to actually kill off that refinery, and the balloon bombs actually split their targets. They get nothing. That was a waste of a precision bomber, balloon bombs, and a Cryogeddon all together. Okay, Final Squadron is coming in, but it's level 1 Final Squadron, so it also fails. They tried 4 different times to kill 2 buildings, and they couldn't even knock down a refinery, which I've heard it said that refineries are one of the most basic buildings in the game, so that's not good for Team Blue to use that whole combination of support powers and get nothing for it. Well, we did a little bit of damage to the health bar as NanoBanana throws out another beacon and says, hey, have you seen how my cryocopters are getting absolutely blasted out of the skies? That's pretty crazy, right? Bullfrog could go ahead and pick up this health crate just to, you know, be even more annoying as he's blasting these Twin Blades out of the sky. Twin Blades getting their wings clipped a bit by those Bullfrogs. And eventually, there we go. Incomes have fallen. I haven't looked over at the income per minute rate for a minute. Bero has gone down significantly as all of the refineries pretty much that people have normal access to will all be depleted. So from this point forward, the armies are going to get harder to muster. They're going to get harder to rebuild. And things that can't be stopped, well, I guess Proton Colliders and Vacuum Imploders can be denied by the Iron Curtain if you're quick enough on the trigger. But things that get guaranteed damage done, like Proton Colliders, like super weapons, those are going to become a lot more powerful and a lot more relevant as the game goes on. Those things, you spent money on them 10, 15 minutes ago, and they're still paying dividends now. Satellite drop also going to be pretty massive as it crashes right through all of those aircraft and then does absolutely nothing. On the ground, it's APOC tanks with the Iron Curtain blessing, just shredding whatever's on the ground. And once again, the aircraft carrier from downtown, well, he's got himself the credit for the kill. The APOC tanks, they normally don't have a problem with bullfrogs, but now that they're invincible, they'll, I guess, really not have a problem with bullfrogs. Natasha targets the wrong APOC tank, as the one that leaves the Iron Curtain's blessing first is actually the one that she first targeted, and so it actually survived because it was still Iron Curtained. And way to nuke your own APOC tank. I didn't actually realize that it would delete nearby units as well. What is this friendly fire that is going on? Those terror drones are serious business, I guess. Cryogeddon will fire off. Tanya gonna run away. The wall's getting rebuilt, and finally the Riptide does what actually matters. The Twin Blades get the kill, though, and the garage has gone down. Nicely sniped there by our team Liven NanoBanana. I guess it's just Liven. That was a full allied build there. Where's the garage? Okay, there's the garage for Team Green. And there's the garage for Team Blue. So, interestingly enough, the super reactor that was buttoned up with that garage had nothing to do with the demise of the garage. It was the classic chronosphere into the back door, and then just freeze it, and hope for the best. In that case, the defensive Cryogeddon may have also worked against we've worked against the defending team in that case, but I guess it doesn't matter at this point. Dead is dead. Tesla Coil coming up versus these two APOC tanks infected with terror drones. They will eventually die. One of them is elite. The other one is just a loser. But with that garage present for everybody but Team Radio Bero, it does mean that they're going to end up taking more damage on their units, taking a longer time to kill all of the units of their opponent. And of course, hydrofoils are here just shredding those drones from the aircraft carrier. Aircraft carrier does have to run for it as Tanya gets cleaned up, kills off a super reactor, kills off an airfield as well. Cryogeddon is ready to go as the spy drones come in, and the precision bomber is too early. There's something about Team Blue. They are just dreadful with using their support powers. They did finally get a kill. They might get this other airfield as well. Will they get the crane? One last bomb. It's enough. 2 airfields and a crane, so they do finally do something. But this is just bad timing. We've all done it. We've all been there. You're throwing out the Cryogeddon. You think it's going to instantly freeze everything. It takes a little too long, and you misplayed your hand by just a moment. And you basically have accomplished nothing at all, as more chronospheres are ready to go. Once again, you always got to be wary with your boats. Dreadnoughts, aircraft carriers, Shogun battleships, they can just get teleported onto land for the insta-kill, and you always got to be worried about it. The engineer capture of the Iron Curtain, it's a wonderful thing to see, and now it's trapped behind enemy lines. Is Tanya going to go for the kill? I guess she is. And there we go. She gets the instant promotion to heroic status. She goes golden, so good for her. And it does feel like things have slowed down significantly. New chronosphere is ready to go. I feel like he just... Oh no, that was actually Blue who just fired off the chronosphere. But Team Bero Radio getting absolutely savaged by these one-clicks and support powers being called in. The Superweapon being utilized on their base repeatedly. The crane getting sniped earlier. All of these combination powers from Team Blue-Green are hammering Team Red's base quite a bit. Another engineer capture of that oil derrick, returning now to Bero. Tanya in the north, looking for the Wave Force artillery. Will just get sniped, maybe? Can the Wave Force get her before she relieves? Oh, goes right through the ground. I thought it was going to be a problem with the like line of sight attack, but no, goes right through the ground. No problems there at all. APOC tank doesn't even need to dodge the V4 rocket. In this case, the V4 will meet its own rocket, much like Hans Joyfield, who was the only man to ever, an Olympic sprinter and javelin thrower, the only man to ever die by throwing a spear into his own back. Whose joke is that? I read that. Was that like a comic joke from 40 years ago or something? That's some joke from like the comics page 20 years ago. That's one of those things that's just always stuck with me. Who's inside of this? Is that a Tanya inside of there? Tanya versus Tanya. Shrunken down Tanya looking for the vacuum imploder. Inside she goes, and the Cryogeddon is too late. She even escapes off to the side. The Cryocopter will be what saves the day. Radio Bero has no hope for the super weapons. I mean, they do still have a Proton Collider, 20 seconds left on that. They do still have a Chronosphere, less than a minute and a half on that. And Super Reactor will go down. The explosion goes off, and Tanya gets inside of the airfield before she gets frozen solid and killed by a Twin Blade. Jabs are here. Team Green is just absolutely going crazy with these teleportation tricks, and the combination of BlackLung sending in Tanya from one side and then Liven sending in Tanya with the Chronosphere on the other side is a cruel combination of those two things. Double Oil Derrick snipe. The Oil Derricks have survived so long in this game. They're a crucial part of the economy for these players, and yet two more of them do end up going down. The days of the big income are gone, as Bero is currently floating 13K in the bank. He's sitting on 8.6K per minute. He is most other players put together, because Bero's income is partially derived from the middle of the map, where I'm guessing some of these mines are not depleted. Okay, yeah, that's where some of the cash is coming from. It's just the sheer number of harvesters that he's got. Back up to 8 harvesters for Bero. Migs hunting some targets. Nice cash crate there that Wave Force Artillery could pick up if he cares to. And that's going to be a Tier 3 naval yard going down as the docks gets cooked, and that EMP lands on the aircraft carrier. The return fire looks like won't be happening from Team Blue. Iron Curtain gets used. Green going to be able to fire a couple of shots. I don't know that a couple of V4s and a couple of Bullfrogs are the best choice of a V4, but in this, or of an Iron Curtain, but in this case, it will be where things are utilized. And there's the Chronosphere somewhere as those units get deleted off of the map. Normally it's like right next to it. Normally you just go click, click, and then that's all that happens. But in this case, that's not exactly how it worked out. V4's turning the center island into just a bunch of black marks as the split bombs rain down scorch marks upon the Earth. Oil Derrick not killed off, but the Terror Drones will get the infect. Double V4 getting eliminated. With the Garage, it does take a while. With the hero status, it does take a while. But eventually, the Terror Drones will get the kill. Almost gets inside of a Bullfrog as well. But the Twin Blades were a little bit too fast on the first one. Not so fast on the second one, as I'm just ignoring everything else that's going on just to watch this one Terror Drone jump from Bullfrog to Bullfrog, and now can get into that APOC tank. Oh, he drives a little bit too far away. He gets into the APOC tank. That one Terror Drone is going on an absolute vacation. He's going anywhere and everywhere that he can. Ultra torpedoes perhaps firing off there courtesy of those Kula subs. And the Dreadnoughts also shelling this base from afar, not actually targeting the Crusher Crane, so it looks like the Terror Drone will be cleaned up. The APOC tank can come over here, and he can actually grind down this Dreadnought if he so chooses. Magnetic Satellite, I think, just called in. Yep, on top of the Dreadnought. Goodbye as the Dreadnought gets sent up into the sky. And Team Blue, I feel like, has just been beaten into submission. They have backed off, and they have said, I'm sorry, I'm waiting for my next round of super weapons to be ready to go. There's the freeze. Where's step 2? There's normally a shoe that drops from the sky and shatters the building and the unit at the same time. But it's just not happening. APOC tanks grinding each other, kissy time, as they work through the armor on the other one, and one of them does end. Hey, it's love at first sight. There, maybe I'll put this video up on Valentine's Day, and it's just, the thumbnail is just 2 APOC tanks smooching it out. Tanya, going from building to building, finds herself an MCV. No, forces the sell-off of the MCV, and the cryocopters just don't care. She's double vet. Oh, the chrono shift to save the proton collider. The freeze comes in just in time, and now it's just jabs making their way across the map. Little bit of a freeze there on the proton collider, but everything else is going to be going down. And Bero Radio, they are slowly pushing out the front line once again. They've taken over the middle part of the island for the most part. They're still fighting over that, but they're also pushing in on the south, and the cryocopter will get absolutely blasted by these jabs. A couple of IFVs are here as well, and the proton collider can, of course, be targeted down, laser lock that puppy, and send it into the ground. And not the doggo. That's a good doggo. Fully heroic, eating a lot of conscripts, eating a lot of peacekeepers, and the laser lock will resume. Power plant now back online, as Liven is hoping to be living his best life, but he's going to be doing it without a proton collider there in the southern part of the map. Meanwhile, Chronosphere cleans up Tanya, so goodbye to Tanya. The Riptide going to continue its run through the base, unharmed by the Chronosphere's teleportation. APOC tanks, if they try to cross this bridge, I would be worried about them just getting instantly nuked here. And a Spectrum Tower hidden behind a building can be a powerful thing indeed to help deal with these naval forces pushing across the map. Iron Curtain ready to go. 1 minute until the vacuum imploder, and that's an Iron Curtain for Bero, by the way, so it can't be used to save any of this stuff that Bero is shredding with those twin blades. Jabs inside of this building, just firing away at everything. They might even get this Vindicator low on health. No, he won't die. He manages to survive, and he'll make it all the way back home. He'll slide right into bed and rest his sweet little head as Tanya goes from the super reactor into the refinery, back out again into the waiting arms of the twin blade, gets frozen and gets sent straight into a box in the ground. As the twin blades come back to the middle of the map, it's low power mode all across the map. People putting their lights out, trying to conserve energy in the heat wave, because there's been a little bit of lack of power going around this map. Everybody's been experiencing it sooner or later. Liven looks like down to just 1 harvester. Not something we see very often unless things are truly closing out. But the Chronosphere means that Liven can still have an active effect on this game for a long time to come. Buildings are about to get broken open. It's interesting that it wasn't used a little bit closer to the Chronosphere. The buildings don't get frozen, actually, so that doesn't work at all. And there is going to be frozen Riptide and nothing else to show for it. On top of the crane goes the Cryo-Geddon. Liven gonna be firing back. Precision Bomber is nicely timed this time. Oh, actually, no, that was Team Blue. That was BlackLung or something that was firing off the mistimed Precision Bombers. As Stone and BlackLung will be losing a bunch of stuff there on the high ground. Toxins get called in on the water, polluting that water, and oh, the jab has moved position now, and Liven just cannot deal with this. Okay, finally, these jabs will end up going down. The MCV forced to run for the hills just a little bit there, and actually, man, that garage repair is so good. The repair rate on that MCV, absolutely crazy. And Team Bero Radio has had their garage denied so long ago in this game. There's so much wasted opportunity for these vehicles because they have had permanent health bars that don't just magically heal themselves immediately as they're taking huge amounts of damage. And the Cryogeddon essentially completely misses all of these tanks as the Chronosphere is used to delete a bunch of units there on the water, but the EMP lands. That's 2 EMPs, and the chopper will transform. He's a striker now, and he can't actually kill these tanks, but somebody else will take care of it for him. Naval Yard forced to sell off the V4s from the high ground, calling in the magnetic satellite as well, and hello to the Bullfrogs as he grabs those up. Mago Satellite going to grab one more V4 as well, and may not actually be able to grab anything else. How the magnetic satellite grabs the dirt off of the ground, I guess it's sucking up all of the bits of like iron in the ground there. I wrote a lore accurate reason for why the Mago Satellite picks up dirt off the ground. And balloon bombs chasing this assault destroyer. The black hole armor may be good or bad, but the chrono shift brings the aircraft carrier back to life, and the aircraft carrier says, "What assault destroyer? I didn't notice any big bump as I came back into this dimension." It's twin blades on top of the aircraft carriers as BlackLung pays the price for the hubris of the Allied Navy. 2 aircraft carriers just getting absolutely deleted. Iron Curtain doesn't quite line up the way that you would want, but Tanya still gets frozen solid as a block of ice, and this IFV is going to have an absolute heyday fighting against the Bloom, not the Gloom, but the Bloom as it lights up the screen, all of the rockets smashing into one location with absolutely zero effect. Whoever paradropped in didn't last very long. Precision Bomber, I think, finds another target there as the IFV gonna work away on this power plant there in the corner of the map, trying to do what little he can. And despite the relatively low economy of this game, especially for the last few minutes in it, these players have stayed fairly active. They've mostly been doing quite a lot. Keeping up the fight despite everyone being on like depleted economies for half the game now. They do manage to put out a lot of units. They have managed to build a lot of armies, and now this IFE is just slowly running away. He's got a long way to drive to get back home, but he's hoping to find it. APOC tanks made invincible for the moment as the satellite drop misses anything of note. And the APOC tanks of NanoBanana are hoping that they can survive long enough to grind something into dust before that Iron Curtain expires and they are left to the guns of the Twin Blades. Twin Blades figure they might as well get a couple of repairs while the Iron Curtain is active. And now they can turn their rockets to these APOC tanks, getting blocked by a reactor or a super reactor on the ground. It denies the magnetic harpoon from actually doing anything, and that'll be the end of the APOC tanks. As glorious and as invincible as they were for a time, they are now dead, and nothing, I guess, lasts forever, including the Iron Curtain's blessing to keep you alive for the current moment, unless of course you're an infantry unit, in which case it's a gigantic curse upon your head. V4 missiles slamming in, and hey, GG comes out. NanoBanana has been defeated. Liven suddenly gets a nice cash boost and a whole new army to play with, a whole new range of tech. In comes the Precision Bomber, and BlackLung deserves an award for the biggest misses of that Precision Bomber, as all of the Riptides, or all of the Twin Blades, converge on one point, and now they just get to tear apart these unprotected Mirage tanks. They killed a refinery, but they accomplished not much more than that. Liven, I hope you're up to living up to a 2-player combination of forces, and at this point this game has been going on for so long that I don't even know why that player left. It could be because they legitimately needed to like go to work or go to sleep or something, and the game has gone on for too long and is not necessarily in a place where it's immediately going to end. And so it's like, well, this could go on for another 5 minutes. It could go on for another 500 minutes. Who even knows at this point? But Bero Radio have been putting on an absolute clinic of a 2v1 team situation. Although I guess it's now kind of a 1v1v2 but in a very weird way to say that. As we do have a 1v2v2 is the only real way to say that. I don't know why I thought I could combine Bero Radio into one, because they've been fighting on two fronts. As the EMP lands, Satellite will come in almost on top of this allied army. The Navy mostly survives, some heavy damage done. Cryogeddon will shut off the retreat path, and the Yari mini-subs rush forward, but it turns out that's actually a bad idea, and the Riptides mostly come through ahead in that fight. One assault destroyer is all it takes, because Black Hole Armor absorbs truly just about everything that there is to absorb. Yari mini-sub going for the suicide run, but not in the normal way of a suicide run, as this IFV just blasts down these frozen buildings. BlackLung manages to call in a couple of nice support powers, gets the kill with the Cryogeddon, and this IFV has gone heroic, hoping to light up the night with another super reactor going boom, baby, boom. As he swings around to the other side, and it's just more walls. It's walls all the way down. Everywhere you look, it's walls, walls, walls. And the Twin Blades pull off just in time. The Dreadnought has moved into position, and BlackLung even throws out a beacon. That's where the Proton Collider lands up in the north, breaks open an airfield, knocks down a garage, and cleans up the walls as well. Into the building go those tank busters, as they are hoping to be able to finish off this super reactor. We tried once, and now it's going to get chrono shifted into another dimension. And, well, these cryocopters are going to have their work cut out for them. But also, this Molotov cocktail-wielding conscript could clear out the building as well in just a slightly different fashion. Goes fully heroic as he cleans up absolutely everything there. And Dreadnoughts continuing to press their advantage from the water onto the land. What's the point of Iron Curtaining the Iron Curtain if you don't have any units to kill the units that are shelling it? Like, what happens if these Twin Blades just walk over here and absolutely eviscerate that Iron Curtain? What have you gained by Iron Curtaining it? Not much at all. I guess you could hope, like, you know, try and get a scanner sweep out so that you can find the most valuable 4 infantry on the map for your opponent and Iron Curtain them. As Psionic Decimator, took a while for it to emerge into the game, but it is here now. We do get to see it finally on the map. Whether or not it'll be utilized, or maybe it will be nuked by a Tanya or something. But either way, it is now out on the field. 3 minutes, 45 seconds. And if you didn't know, it's called a Psionic Decimator because there are 6... Can I count? Yes, I can count. There are 6 Eurekos inside of basically coffins, all wired up to the Psionic Decimator and lending their psionic powers to the Decimator. And that is how it decimates things psionically. As the Twin Blades are going to try and back away. They didn't quite time the rockets just right. They end up just waiting it out, and it's actually totally fine. Twin Blades outrange the super reactor, so it ends up not being a problem. Final squadron gets called in, and the IFV next to that building, Javs, I guess, just blasted apart. Twin Blades slowly making their way from the north to the south. Okay. You are cryogeddoning a refinery. It doesn't feel like that's the big win that you maybe think that it is. Oh no! He kills off the ore collector, and the hero IFV is gonna die before he gets repairs. The garage is actually kind of saving him here. Go! It doesn't matter. The Terror Drone gets the win. The last laugh is from the Terror Drone after all. I thought the garage was down. How did that guy have repairs as he is running home? I don't think there's another garage out on the map. Oh, he was heroic. He was a heroic IFV. That's how he was getting repairs as he is traveling back home. Couple of Tengus coming out from stone. A couple of more Tengus. I like that half are in the sky and half are on the ground. That's how my Tengus tend to travel as well. Toxins on the aircraft carrier, on the assault destroyer as well. Liven is still in this game, but I feel like Liven hasn't done anything since NanoBanana died. Liven may have well have passed away in the same moment also, and it's sort of like, I don't know what the point of that is. MCV. Ooh, the army doesn't get caught, but the bridge does! Instantly deleted there. Liven is still living in this game, but not in a way that matters, because again, it does feel like Liven hasn't done anything significant. And you better grab these buildings with engineers before you kill off Liven's last structure. I would legitimately send like a twin blade or something loaded with engineers or something else over to those structures, because getting the garage, getting the 2 oil derricks, again, the unchanged income rate of oil derricks just gets more valuable the longer the game goes on. No, don't burn down the garage. That can help you. Twin blades are just on Overwatch. Okay, none of them have engineers inside. They just instantly delete all of those neutral structures, and the tech structures will not remain any longer in this game. Peacekeeper versus a Tengu, and the way this game is going, I actually was kind of expecting the Tengu to win that fight, or the Peacekeeper to win that fight and not the Tengu, as this Tengu is actually harassing the building and not just the harvester that is with it. Chronosphere is ready to go. Maybe even a couple of them are ready to pop off, as we have some kind of thing called in. It's going to be a proton collider, and the Iron Curtain saves at least one of the super reactors. The proton collider fires off into the middle of a bunch of buildings and just damages them without actually killing any of them completely. Liven still in this game. Why did the twin blades pull back, man? Why did they stop? Chase him down, run him off the map, get him out of here. As that proton collider has fired off, but didn't really get all that much for it. Radio, on the other hand, ready with that chronosphere. I don't know, maybe send a Tanya over somewhere into the corner and just blast this MCV or something. Gonna start an ore refinery. That's right, long distance mining a depleted ore refinery is, well, it's not the worst idea anyone's ever come up with, but it's close. It's one of the worst ideas that has ever been invented here in Red Alert 3. Gonna force the sell-off of that refinery, so I guess that's something. But it does feel like the writing has been on the wall for more than a couple of minutes here, as this free-for-all, as this 2v2v2, not a free-for-all, as this 2v2v2 continues on just a little while longer. I guess your ultra torpedoes don't have to be aimed quite right as long as your opponent is using the black hole armor. Things are getting smashed down there. Okay, there's something, there's an aircraft carrier, but the black hole armor wasn't actually helping in that case. Woo, there we go. Ultra torpedoes firing off just again and again. Chrono shift on all 6 of those Akula subs, and are you actually going to follow up to do anything about it? Proton collider fires off in the north. Precision bomber gets the last kill there, and it's going to be power back online for Team Blue. The clocks can start ticking once again, and Liven has finally been defeated. No more Liven for you. That guy is as dead as they come. And, well, Psionic Decimator is pretty cool. Pretty cool to be able to see it sometimes, even if we don't really actually see it. And, you know, what else do we have going on here? I feel like we're just waiting for the inevitable. Under the water they go. The lake may be frozen on top, but underwater, but underneath the ice is cold liquid water. Just ready to go. V4 fires back, but the aircraft carrier wins that fight. Couple of tank busters getting a kill over there. Ooh, EMP lands on top of 2 fully heroic Dreadnoughts. The Twin Blades might just have to commit into the fight because there's no good exit for those Twin Blades. Hydrofoils do end up going down, and now the Twin Blade is free to tear apart this aircraft carrier. down to Davy Jones' locker they go. As on the other side, the Ultra Torpedoes are going to be pushing forward. These Akula subs are here onto the front line, and the Iron Curtain fires off as well to keep the ones that aren't actually taking any damage just alive a little bit longer. Twin Blades on one side, MiGs as well, and BlackLung has been defeated. We were all hoping it would happen sooner or later, but it's just good to know that BlackLung is finally gone once and for all. We've figured it out. No more people in the mines, and BlackLung is out, leaving only Stone 69 to get a satellite dropped on his head and have his airfield survive with the smallest amount of HP possible, and yet still able to produce build units completely fine. More and more one-clicks getting called in here upon this base. Toxins on the Mecha Bay, basically on the back, but I guess it also covers the instant dojo where a Yuriko may be popping out. And Stone hoping to somehow win this one out with this one refinery, infinitely harvesting and infinitely producing harvesters, as even the King Oni gets teleported into nothing there. And that will do it for this game. I have to feel like it's really done and dusted now as the fire sale comes out. And there we go. The GG finally lands. Stone 69 has been defeated. Bero and Radio end up getting the win in an extremely long 2v2 with a ton of super weapons and a ton of action. And just over the 1 hour mark for the game time. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And this is Sybert signing out.